Personal stories of campus climate. One of the really terrible things about my experience at the university is I hear so much of the pain from students, faculty, and staff. I hear so much of the pain from students, faculty, and staff.
Off of Blizzard, we had 140 people that had registered for the event. I think they told me that we had about 75 persons that actually made it to the event. You know, it was the first time we did it. We're going to do it every year. I thought it was useful. I thought it was a great opportunity to continue a conversation, a dialogue, and hopefully going forward, we'll do nothing but create a more powerful space for student voice to be heard around these issues.
Wonderful dinner discussion. And at that dinner discussion, the key theme that emerged was we want to know what's going on campus around issues of diversity to a much greater extent, number one. Number two, we want to know how we can participate in those discussions. And number three, we would like to be able to work collaboratively with you and other administrators to accomplish those goals.
We could create a student advisory board for the media and newspapers, and it wouldn't be a censoring group or anything, but it would be just a group that could be there to just simply give advice on certain articles that they run, to be like, hey, you know, this is going to be offensive if you put this out, maybe you should rethink it, or maybe you should rethink the photo that you're publishing.
But at the core of our conversations around issues of campus climate, our conversations around issues of inclusion is really about how people think about the world. How do they view you? How do you show up on campus? How do you show up in our student media? What are the thoughts that go through one's mind when we see certain images? It's those thought patterns, it's those mental models, those assumptions that rest at the core of culture. I think I saw you. Yes, sir.
With a new group of students coming here every year, we face the issue having to catch them up on these conversations that we've been having. So I'd like to talk about how we continue to catch new students up while also moving the climate forward.
Yes. Yes.
What we want to do is pull it together into something more cohesive than notes. So it becomes a deliverable product that's emerged from student voice. We'll then bring the student advisory group together that kind of was meeting throughout, distribute that to them, get their feedback to it. Then we will have another event, not as major as this one, but we'll invite everybody that we have, that we know is here, invite them to come out and talk about the ideas that emerge, and then we give it to students to say, now student leaders, we've helped you to come up with these actionable ideas. What would you like to do going forward?
One topic that came many times throughout our conversation was a need of a mentorship, a peer-based mentorship that could be sustainable, that undergrads could be matched with grad students, and then also have the student organizations have faculty and staff as advisors. That was a topic that came over and over again, so we can have first year students, whether it's an undergrad or at grad level, to ease their transition into the.
Again, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to give an update to the campus community about some things that were going on that you may or may not know. My office funds about $30,000 to $40,000 worth of programs, campus-wide, every year. Not a large money, a large amount of money, about 30 to 40 events and $50,000 worth of funding that happens. Looking across this room, many of you have applied for funding in my area, and we've been very supportive and are glad to do that. That's a part of how we're trying to make a difference. I've done stuff at the faculty level, the staff level, the student level, and in 2011-12, I wanted to let folks know, for those of you who have been applying for funding, that we're going to go to some new protocols of how we do that. And I want to make sure I make that point clear, because this is going to be a part of the new process of protocols that we're putting in place. There will be no more funding of last-minute events that are haphazardly being put in place. We will not do that any longer. There will be a lot of no's that happen out of my office. The Chancellor alluded to the fact that resources are precious. I don't have a lot of money to offer to these challenges, but the resources that I do, I want to offer to the most well-thought-out, organized events possible. And a part of that is a challenge we have to make sure you understand how to interface that process. And then another part of it is you, on your end, being totally prepared to do what's necessary to be able to put those things forward.
Yeah, I think that in the economic climate that we find ourselves, there's going to be a lot of pain felt across the board. And diversity efforts and initiatives are a part the tapestry of everything else that goes on around here. And so one of the things I believe, though, is that you stay committed to the things that you value the most. And I believe that diversity is a credible value, and I believe that we're going to stay committed and stay the course, even though there may be some pain and some things that we may have to move forward and adjust on.